Colin Hiles here, aka the Mindset Guy, with today's training video, which is all about the power of no. And I have to start out by saying, too many people I've met have poo-pooed the simplicity of what I'm about to share with you. I mean, it really can't be that simple that one word can make such a big difference. But yes, this one word, one syllable, two letters, no, can give us liberation, it can give us freedom, it can give us power, it can give us balance, it can give us authenticity, a feeling of being real. Just that one word. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you why that is the case and also how to use this one word in order to get more happiness. So let's start out with what I call the 4 gifts of the no. And that's 4 words here: choice, connection, control, and change. Let's start out by understanding choice first. Now, each of us have a lot of choices every single day. Some are small choices and some are big choices, but we have those choices. And when we say yes to something, we are saying no to something else. And what's important is that we're saying yes to the things that matter, yes to people, situations, opportunities that really matter to us, to the things that we want to achieve in our life. And so by understanding how to use a no, we can in fact get more of what we want and less of what we don't want. So let's look at the second one, which is connection. Now, a no connects us to what's important. It connects us to our values. We've all got values. We've all got things that really matter to us. And when we say no to what doesn't matter, it connects us more to that does matter. So when I talk about living an authentic life, living with integrity, you can see how by using a no, you can connect with more in authenticity and more integrity. You can start living with more integrity every single day. So that no connects us to what matters. Thirdly, and that is control. Every one of us can give way to an impulse, or we can lack willpower, and we can start to engage in and tolerate things that are not good for us, you know, behaviours and people that are not good for us. And when we start to use no in the right way, we start to become more powerful and feel in power, in control, rather than being controlled, because we decide what's right for us. And we can stop, for instance, engaging in and overcommitting ourselves to things, because we'll say yes when really we mean no. And one of the things that I've certainly learned from having children, and I'm sure if you've been around children and you've had children, you know, when they're really young, between that 2 and 3, oh, they are very, very good at saying no. In fact, researchers found that they learn to say no before they say yes. So they're good at saying no. They're very good at saying no. And if you've been around them, you'll know. You know, they stubbornly, no, I'm not doing it, no. And we lose our ability to say no, because often we want to appease and please people. We become people pleasers. So that no starts to drop away from our vocabulary, and we start saying yes to things that we really should be saying no to. So when we use no, we are more in control. And lastly, change. That when we understand how and where to use a no, it's easier to change the things that are not working for us. And all great change, all big changes, start with a no. And if you think about, you know, very famous people that we hear stories about, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, I can go on and on and on. It all started with them saying no to something, no to injustice, no to bullying, no to dishonesty, etc. So all great change starts with a no. And if that's on a global scale, then we can bring it down to a local scale as well. We can start to understand how to change what's not working, what to say no to, so that we can say yes to something bigger and better. So that's the 4 gifts of a no. The 4 C's: choice, connection, control, and change. Now let's jump over here as to how do you use it then. So what I invite you to do is go get a piece of A4 paper and draw that up there. Now you see across the top we've got health, wealth, love and lifestyle. If you're new to my channel, these are the 4 big life areas that I talk about, and they've come from understanding that ultimately people, want to get fit or get skinny, get rich, get love and get a life, right? The 4 big gets as I get them. So everything is built around that. So you start by understanding what are you going to say yes to? Your absolute yes. And this connects you to, your desires, your wants, your needs, the things that you're passionate about, and that's your goals. That's what you write in there, in these boxes here. So what's your ultimate health goal? What's your ultimate wealth goal? What's your ultimate love goal? What's your ultimate lifestyle goal? So that's the first thing. So what are you going to say yes to? Now, once you understand what you want to say yes to, then you've got to figure out what you've got to start saying no to. Because none of these are currently in your life. And you're currently, as I said with choice, saying yes and no to certain things. So it may be that you've got to start saying no to certain things. So let's go through each of them, right? And I've just got a little list here. I'm just going to give you a few questions to think about, okay? So let's start with health here, right? So a question would be, what food or drink are you going to say no to? Because ultimately, if you want to, achieve a certain weight and shape, it might mean that you've got to start saying no to certain types of food that you're eating. What excuses are you going to no longer use? It might mean that you've got to start working out. I know I certainly have. And I used to use the excuse of I didn't have enough time. That was just a classic. It was fantastic. It was brilliant. And I could always justify not having enough time. But if I want that, if I want to say yes to that, I've got to say no to excuses. What about what thoughts or emotions are you no longer going to tolerate? Emotions like doubt or jealousy or guilt or insecurity. These emotions are not going to support you in living the mind, body, emotion and spiritual health that you want. So you've got to start thinking about what emotions are you no longer going to tolerate in yourself. So there's 3, just some simple ideas around health. Now let's go across to wealth now. Wealth is about money creation and also how you create that, i.e. your job or career. So what opportunities do you need to say no to? See, opportunities constantly come our way. I had to say no to a piece of business this morning. And of course you do it in a very polite way. But if you say yes to every single opportunity, very quickly you could find yourself saying no to the really important opportunities that connect to this because you just don't have enough time or energy capacity to take care of them. But we have opportunities to meet more people. We have opportunities to invest more money. We have opportunities constantly coming our way. And it's really important that we're clear on what we need to say yes to so we can say no to something else. What about what meetings do you need to decline or delegate? If you work in an organisation, your diary can be filled up with meetings non-stop. So you can be very efficient, but you're not very effective because you're in meetings that you really shouldn't be in. So what meetings do you need to decline? How much money are you not going to spend? See, if you constantly spend all your money, or you spend even more, too much month at the end of the money syndrome, then you don't have any money to invest in order to make more money in the future. So how much money are you not going to spend? What are you going to curb and say, right, that is my investment money. That's how I'm going to use money to start making me money. Let's look at love, all right? Some ideas around love. What behaviours are you no longer going to tolerate in yourself or others? Really important. Could be like gossiping, could be complaining, could be blaming, for instance. If you start doing it, you're not going to tolerate that in yourself. But also, if you're around people and all they do is complain, whinge, moan, groan, blame, then maybe you don't want to be around those individuals, which links to the next question, right? What relationships do you need to say no to? Some relationships are more toxic. Some relationships drain us of energy. Some relationships pull us down rather than pull us up. So we need to say no to certain relationships so that we can say yes to better relationships, which connects us to our love goals. What social pressure are you no longer going to give into? We're all guilty, as I talked about over here, of wanting to please people. And so we'll say yes to things when really we should be saying no to them, which means we're not being authentic. And I want you to think about, if you're around someone who keeps saying yes to things when they really mean no, do you begin to trust them? No. So if you want to establish more trust in relationships, you've got to be clear on your yes and your no's. When you can confidently and powerfully say no to something, yeah, it might upset them. Yes, it might disappoint them. Yeah, it may be a bit bumpy, but what do they learn about you? They learn about you and your authenticity and your degree of integrity as well. So what relationships are you going to say no to? You know, we're all guilty of wanting to conform. So sometimes you may have to go against the norm of the group that you're in, and I've talked about this before. Let's look at lifestyle. So what obligations do you need to say no to? Because obligations are taking up your time. And if you're obligated to too many things, then you can't say yes to the things that are really important to you. So what obligations do you need to start saying no to? What time-wasting activities do you need to stop? We're all guilty of them. You know, we find ourselves on Facebook and 60 minutes passes. You go, where did that time go? Or YouTube, or watching too much TV, which is just passive, when we could be using that time for wealth creation, for instance, or coming up with ideas, or getting down the gym, etc., etc. So, what things do you need to, what time activities or time wasting activities you need to say no to? And what about what trips or travel do you need to stop? Now nowadays technology is making it much easier for us to connect over the net. And certainly, I mean, I live in Spain and lots of my business is in London. And yes, sometimes I need to be in London and I need to be face to face. But there's times, like I've done 2 coaching calls today via Skype with 2 corporate clients. That's via Skype. So Skype is, as an idea, as technology, is allowing me to spend more time here in Spain, and I don't have to travel so much. I don't have to make so many trips. So, you know, certainly some of my clients, my corporate clients, are working more from home. One of the clients I spoke to this morning was doing exactly that, working from home, because technology is making it possible to do it more. But of course, you've got to start saying no to the trips. And I've had to educate my clients that, you know, we could do this over the phone or we could do this via Skype. I don't need to be there face to face. So having that sort of conversation, which means it may be a bit disappointed, as I've said, but you can get around that. So there we go. There's just 3 questions per life area that you can start asking yourself, and there's far more than that, and you need to come up with your own questions as well, so that you're able to use the power of no to get more of what you do want. So there we are. Right? In summary, right, a no helps us to get more of what we want. It protects our boundaries and our priorities and our values. It empowers us emotionally to move forward in a constructive way, and it lets us know what we need to change. That's what no does for us. So there you go. You've got what you need to do this week. So go ahead and get that done. Please leave any comments below, either here on YouTube or if you're on my blog. I love to know. If you're really busy and you haven't got a lot of time, then feedback 1 to 10. 1 didn't enjoy it, 10 really enjoyed it. That's all you've got to put in, just the number. I really appreciate it. So this is Colin Hiles, the Mindset Guy. I'll see you on the next video. Hold on, before you go, let me just ask you a quick question. Do you feel like a Ferrari that's got its front brakes locked on and it's just spinning round and round? And maybe you're spinning and stuck in the area of health, or maybe you're spinning and stuck in the area of wealth, or maybe for you it's in the area of relationships or your career. Well, unfortunately, most people's minds are working against them, creating things that they don't want repeatedly. I want to show you how to release your mental brakes immediately with 4 free advanced mind power training videos. The information contained in these 4 videos will provide little known keys to the psychology of achievement. As you start watching them, the advanced mind power training will transform you from the inside out. Release your mental brakes today for real results, lasting change, and a quantum leap in your performance. So visit www.advancedmindpowertraining.com or click on the link below this video to get your first free video today.